winners? Let the pros show you how to make money. General Manager Al DeMarco, a regular contributor on Fox Sports, MSNBC, and Comcast Sports TV, brings over 25 years of handicapping experience to the table. CEO Steve Budin, the author of Bets, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, is the man responsible for creating the online betting industry. Together, they lead PickNation.com, your number one source for winners.
Hi, everyone. 30 more minutes to go. The nation's only NFL pregame show where we break down all the games from a point spread perspective. I'm Al DeMarco along with Steve Budin. I've been a professional sports handicapper for 25 years. Steve, a bookmaker, son of a bookmaker himself for 20-some years, and the guy who went offshore and created what you now know as the offshore sportsbook industry. We give our perspective on all the games here, and we're going to go right back to the phones to start off our second half hour, picking up with Sandy. How you doing, Sandy? Sandy, are you there?
Sandy, you there?
I'm here.
All right. How are you, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
What do you want to talk about?
I'm just depressed with Detroit.
You sound a little depressed.
Yeah, well, I'm in the opposite of the world.
Well, one, you're living in the Detroit area, so that
Right.
might be somewhat depressing.
Right.
Now we'll get all the hate mail from
Absolutely.
suburbanites in Detroit.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. My daughter, gets to do a state fair every year where she picks a name out of a hat, and wherever she picks out, she has to do a report. So I told her this year, whatever state she gets, that I would take her there. And this way we could learn about it together, and it would be great. And she'll do the report, bring it to school. It'll be really innovative. And then she got Michigan, so I just told her that we'd go to Disney World.
And I thought I ripped the city.
When the Ritz-Carlton in Detroit is only $1.25 a night, something's wrong.
So, Sandy, you want to talk about the Lions and Packers? I'm just curious, before we give you our take, who do you like in the game?
Well, I'm from Detroit, so I like the Lions, but I'm a very depressed Lions fan. Do you think they have a shot of beating them, that they almost had a shot the last time?
I mean, hey, look, on the season, though, they've covered 9 out of 12 games, so you might be a depressed Lions fan, but you should be a rich Lions fan at this point if you've been betting them consistently.
Normally I would say that Green Bay would like probably look ahead, and that would probably not take Detroit too seriously. But you got to feel that the Packers at this point of the year are extra focused. They're still trying to secure a playoff spot. They're probably the best team in the league that's still trying to secure a playoff spot. So, the chances for a look ahead, I think, are diminished because of that. Detroit's great against the spread this year. If you're betting Detroit all year, you're not as depressed as Sandy sounds on the phone. But I think the Packers get them here in the double-digit blowout.
I'll tell you what, this is the last easy game, if you want to call this one a division road game for the Packers. Because after this, the look ahead that Steve was alluding to, they go to New England next week to take on the Patriots in Foxborough. Then they come back home, the Giants and the Bears. And that Bears game could decide at this point, you know how it plays out the next 3 weeks, could decide who's going to win the division, who's going to get the playoff, the bye. All these things come into play. Packers in the first game were up 28-14 in the third quarter, comfortably ahead. Lions came back with a couple of garbage scores to make it a close game, 28-26 final, a game in which the Packers were laying 14.5 points. Aaron Rodgers has won 5 straight games against Detroit, and he's been just phenomenal in those starts, averaging 70% completions, 305 yards a game, and, FYI, only 14 touchdown passes in those 5 games. So I agree with you. I think the way to go is with the Packers. I mean, I think last week the Lions looked good against who did they play well against last week? See, I almost forgot. Chicago, only because the Bears were in a sandwich situation.
Right.
Hosting the Patriots this week, coming off the big upset win against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think you have to lay it here with the Packers because they're not going to let down, as you said. It's money time now. So go ahead and lay the points with Green Bay. Back to the phones we go now to pick up with Zach, who's calling us from Peoria, Illinois. How you doing, Zach?
Hey, great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Hey, I was looking over the card, and there are 2 games that just jump right out at me. I can't figure out why these teams aren't favored by more. And I was wondering if there's any reason just not to grab the points and run with these. The Giants over the Vikings and the Patriots over the Bears.
Well, let's take the first one first with the Giants, Al.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got a Giants team here that's coming off 2 straight home wins against Jacksonville and Washington. The Redskins, they beat the hell out of last week after losing their 2 previous games in division against the Cowboys and the Eagles. It's a cheap price because the Giants have lost 4 in a row to the Vikings over the past 5 seasons. And the Vikings, even though they're 2-0 straight up and against the spread since Leslie Frazier took over, there's always some concern with that Giants pass rush. Is Brett Favre going to go out early like he did last week when on the first play of the game he went out? And Tavares Jackson came in, 3 interceptions, but they did happen to roll. But that was against the Buffalo Bills. We're talking a little step-up competition here against the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants playing great ball. Like Al said earlier, they've discovered the run again. They're controlling the games again. They were at a point in the season just a few weeks back where it looked like they were going to tank it. They've actually stepped it up and are proving to be, like I said earlier, New York's best chance at a Super Bowl this year. I like the Giants in this spot.
And then you've got the New England game. We just discussed it a couple of times in the first half hour of the show. And by the way, shameless plug, if you happen to miss any portion of the first half hour or any portion of the show and want to watch it again in its entirety, just go to picknation.com and click on the video player and off you go. Again, in this other game, you've got the Patriots coming off a huge Monday night home win in revenge in division against the Jets. On the road, 6 days, short week of preparation against a Chicago team that's won 5 in a row and, of course, upset Philadelphia as a 3.5-point home dog 2 Sundays ago. That's why the price is short.
Yeah, and so, yes, there is a good reason why you would take Chicago in this game, and it's because New England, I mean, they really deserve a letdown here. They played their best game. They played their biggest game emotionally, physically against a Jet team that was coming in super high in confidence, but missing a lot on the talent area, obviously. And they got the big win. But look, it's like I told the last caller that I asked about this game. The bookmakers and the lines makers, they watch the same game you watch. They know how New England crushed the Jets, and they got this line 3 for a reason. And the reason is because this Bears team is damn good.
Okay, thanks for giving us a buzz. Off to the phone lines we head once more, and we're going to pick up with Jack from Dallas. How you doing, Jack?
Pretty good, guys. How you guys doing?
Well, now I can't say I don't know jack about Dallas.
That's a good one.
Well, please don't give him any more compliments. He doesn't need them.
Encouragement.
No encouragement. We got 20 more minutes I've got to endure.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jack? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, guys, I'm a pretty big underdog player, and as you can imagine, my Christmas gifts are paid for this year.
Yep.
With cash and underdogs being, I'm looking at 2 underdogs this week that I like a lot. I like the Chiefs over the Chargers, who have proved once again they're a fraud last week. I think 7 points is too much.
As long as you're not going to give out your 800 number at the end of this call.
Yeah, exactly. Not to go all homer on you, but about my Cowboys. I mean, they're picking it up a little bit, and I know Vic's hot, but so is the Cowboys in the offense. I like the 3.5.
And the one thing that Jack is talking about is that underdogs have really dominated in Vegas this season. Most sustained underdog winning streak I've ever seen in 25 years as a handicapper from start of the season through the first 13 weeks of play.
It's a good year to be a bookmaker.
Yeah, the underdogs are 18 games over 500, which is just phenomenal. And you say 18 games doesn't sound like a lot, but when you realize 13 weeks of play, 18 games over 500, if the favorites aren't hitting at about 58 to 60%, gamblers are losing their shirts because they keep riding the favorites. They think this is the week the chalks are going to come in. I think it's an interesting game, though, that he picks on, Kansas City, San Diego. Now, I personally hit 2 out of 3 in the NFL last week. I had a big play on Thursday night with Philadelphia over Houston. Sunday, I had Kansas City against Denver. And then Monday night, I had my biggest play of the year with the Patriots in the round of the Jets. So I won big for the week because of the Patriots anyway. But that Kansas City game last week against Denver, they dominated time of possession, 33 minutes to 17. They absolutely owned every facet of the scoreboard. They outgained them on the ground. Matt Castle had another big game.
Boy, he's playing good, Castle.
22 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions this year. Problem is, they couldn't cover against one of the worst teams in the NFL, laying the points at home. They only managed to win that game 10-6. I know San Diego's coming off the loss. Revenge game for the Chargers. Remember, week number 1, it was that second Monday night game in the monsoon.
Yep. And I had the Chiefs, and I called you up in the first quarter and said, "Hey, Al, I can't win this game. It's impossible." And then as I was saying it, you heard the lightning come, the rain came in, and I said, "Wait a second, I'll get back to you." And then all of a sudden, everything opened up. For the Chiefs, they were able to run all over them. They were able to pass on them. The Chargers couldn't move the ball in the rain. I think it's payback time, and payback's a bitch.